Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot Tube. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, May 13th, 2024. This video topic is courtesy of my moderators, Julie and Tess, who recently suggested that I touch on a topic I'm not an expert on, but can give you a little information about to pursue more information yourself. I'm speaking about our higher self and the concept behind what that is and how to connect and integrate with it. I don't claim to be an expert. And the point was made to me that you don't have to be an expert to speak on something that you're working on and experiencing to some extent and share that with others. And then through this show and tell process, maybe you can help others. So that's what the purpose of this video is, not to put myself up as an expert in any way, just a fellow journeyman. And I'll share a little of my journey with you and some information and how I personally conceive of what a higher self is. And then we're going to see what the tarot wants us to know, kind of a collective message from our higher selves to ourselves on this journey. So one of the reasons I am touching on topics that aren't necessarily political in nature is that often there is a political tie-in to what we're looking at. I'm going to take you to a share screen, and I'm going to start with the bottom item first, just telling you what it is, and then we'll go into the information about higher self that I have for you. If you're interested in this compilation or the links that I talk about, you can follow the Facebook link at the video description box and check it out in more detail yourself. If you aren't comfortable navigating over to Facebook, just listen as I share and maybe pause your video if you want to try to enlarge and look at things yourself. Okay, let's go to that share compilation I have for you. I thought this was a good introduction. Connecting with your higher self is essential to experiencing your unique, joyful life journey. It shouldn't be a painful process. It shouldn't be traumatic. Let me make that very, very clear. Now, I said we'd go to the last item first and see if there wasn't a political tie-in to this. And here's what I thought you might want to be aware of. I have a Twitter item here, and I thought I had a good cover picture for you, but it didn't show up. Let me navigate to it quickly and show you. CIA documents reveal that we live in a 5-dimensional world. We as humans have the ability to create our own reality, and that the more love we have and express, the more our reality will shift. So that is what that first item will take you to. And part of loving ourselves and others is kind of having that peace, that feeling that there's no missing part of us. And for some of us, some of what we might feel is missing as we navigate through this complicated world that is shifting out of 3D is possibly a connection with our higher self. Now, here's how I thought of it as a 3-phase step for me, just speaking personally. First, I had to recognize and know a little bit about what a higher self was supposed to be. That might seem fairly simple, but it was a new concept for me. Then, after we realize what a higher self might be, we're going to look at connecting with that. First, you connect, you say hello, you get introduced with one another. At least the ego does. The higher self always has pretty good knowledge of what we do, think, and everything else. So we get an introduction out of the way. As our comfort grows, we look to integrate that higher self with our ego or everyday self so that we are complete and not separated. And we know that evil wants us divided, and that includes our consciousness, our being. The more division there is, the less connectedness and joy there is, the less love there is, and the longer their toehold continues on our reality. Okay, now I'm not going to read the entire quote to you, so if you don't want to navigate to Facebook, I apologize, but this is just too long. I will read the first paragraph here and then the first sentence on this one. This is about connecting. Okay, after you accept what the concept of it is. The concept of higher self is a complex and multifaceted idea that has been explored in various spiritual and philosophical traditions. At its core, the higher self refers to the deepest, most authentic, and wisest part of an individual's being. It is often described as a calm, loving, and spiritual guide that brings one's positive characteristics to the surface and encourages personal growth and self-awareness. The next sentence I've got for you is about integrating with your higher self. Integrating your higher self is a profound process that can bring about profound shifts in your life. I'm going to continue just for a second here. It's a journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, and self-acceptance. And then it talks about key points to consider. Then I have 2 articles for you that seem to be fairly good, not too negative. And again, read with discernment. I didn't come away with 100% of either one of these articles, but a majority of it resonated with me, made sense, kind of coincided with what my experiences have been. So make sure as you read, you use your discernment and only accept what feels comfortable to you. Now, I say that because in the process of looking up information about higher self, again, not having any kind of a degree in the subject or anything else, I read some rather snarky comments that people can use that concept of higher self to excuse their bad behavior because they have it integrated with their higher self. No, there's no excuses for bad behavior. There's none. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey. First of all, I was introduced to the concept of higher self, and I had someone I very much trust and value that had some gifts of a special nature that told me that I wasn't fully integrated with mine, but the process had started just with me waking up spiritually and emotionally and politically and all the other process that it had started, but it wasn't nearly complete. So I started trying to visualize. I'm a visualization type of person, especially when it comes to concepts. And I tried to visualize what that higher self might look like. Here's what I finally came up with that worked for me. I thought about sitting down at one of those prison visiting centers with the plexiglass and having a conversation with my higher self. Now, I was probably on the inside because while I'm the ego person walking around here, my higher self knew everything I'd been doing and saying. But until I opened a dialogue and was willing to speak with that higher self, it just wasn't happening. The connection wasn't there. It was waiting, but it wasn't there. So I introduced myself to my higher self. And I just said, it's ego, Laura. Finally talking to higher self, Laura. I apologize that you had to wait so many decades for this conversation. I've been thinking back on things I did in my life that I'm proud of, and especially the things I'm not so proud of. And I bet it really hurt you not to be able to nudge me in a better direction or to encourage me to make the right choice, even if it was difficult. And I am so sorry for the times I let us down. And it isn't us, because this is part of me. And I just continued talking like that. And I said, heretofore, from here on out, I want you to feel like you're part of me and I'm part of you. I welcome you to integrate with me and not only be aware of my thoughts and feelings and emotions and actions, but just feel like we're a team, that we're a team. And that was kind of the conversation I started with. And then I got to thinking, my higher self is behind that plexiglass wall. I'm the one that can touch a dandelion or blow the fluff on a dandelion. I'm the one that can watch a butterfly land on my hand and feel what its little feet feel like. I'm the one that can pet a kitten. I'm the one that can taste a strawberry. So I started inviting my higher self, if my higher self wanted to experience those things with me. Because up till now, my higher self has been experiencing things from a remove, visually, auditorily. But I realized I had a gift I could give my higher self, and that was the gift of sensations, especially the sweet ones. The smell of a freshly washed baby with powder, and they smell so good. They do. And the feel of a cat snuggling up to you, the feel of soft fur when you pet a cat, things like that. And I just started, hey, you might, if you want to feel this, come on, let's do it together. So whether it was really happening or not, it was me acknowledging and giving worth and value to my higher self. And nowadays, you'll notice when I try to explain to people that my use of the tarot cards is as an intuitive aid, and that the only, I don't traditionally channel because that allows other energies to come into yourself that you may not be able to remove even if you want to. So I always only ask for insights from either my higher self or my loving creator. That's enough right there. I think of her as like my administrative secretary that takes a note, gets it to the boss, but is not that I'm the boss, but is not going to let you into the office. And if there's value in what you have to share, she'll pass it along. So that's a little bit about my journey. And like I said, nowadays, I take a few times during my meditation, I take a few moments and just check in with myself. And then I also, even without checking in with that higher self, I ask myself, have I conducted myself in a way that would finally bring a little bit of joy to my higher self? Have I said words or thought words before I spoke them that, my higher self is going to be, finally, she's getting a clue. And it paid off because recently when I was speaking to that same person I mentioned earlier, they mentioned that my integration was very close to being complete. And that was good. I want to be complete and whole. And I want to be filled with love and light. And those are the things that are going to make political changes and world changes and personal changes. So the tie-in was the fact that the CIA had classified documents that had to be asked to be declassified about how we live on a 5-dimensional plane and that our thoughts create our reality, which I've been saying, but there's scientific proof that they finally unwrapped for us. And I thought that was fascinating. Here's the way I'm going to phrase our topic for the universe. I'm going to ask that the collective consciousness of higher selves, and those will know who they're speaking to through my video here. What does the collective of higher self individuals want us to know? What's important to relay to us? And let's see what the universe has to tell us about this topic. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera, let you watch me work with the cards, and we'll find out together what messages or information or insights our higher selves as a collective have really wanted to pass along to us. 1 second while I change that camera. Okay. So this information will be coming either from a higher self or our loving creator. Behind that plexiglass barrier that they've been having to wait patiently behind, what does the collective consciousness of higher selves want to share with us? Well, I'm going to assume the whole deck needs to be turned around, which tells you I don't pick at them in between. Okay. Oh, we've got the Hermit showing up first thing for the topic. We have the 9 of Cups. I'm already glad I asked this question. We have the 10 of Swords, the 6 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, the High Priestess, and the 3 of Swords. Okay, now first of all, we've got a major arcana showing up here about the topic. So it's kind of a thumbs up, yes, we have higher selves. That concept is right. And the higher self being indicated by the Hermit is usually a sign of kind of a benevolent and divine type of oversight. So our higher selves are, I think, a little closer to our loving creator, to source, than we are. And maybe they've been advocating, be patient with her, be patient with him. Who knows? And they're happy we're asking this topic. A lot of us have been making some progress in getting to know our higher self, trying to be the best version of ourselves that we can, and then just trying to feel less incomplete on this plane of existence, because that separation does tend to cause a feeling of something's missing. I don't quite fit here. And the more we integrate, the less those are issues. Now, this is kind of the doing away in the recent past. Our collective consciousness is telling us that stop letting our ego selves, as we've stopped letting our ego selves be in control and complete. Our ego self is not passing away, but transforming and starting into a new stage of life experience for us, where we are more integral with our higher self. The Six of Cups confirms that here. This is the present. This is a card of reconciliation. Yes, it's a card also of sibling love. So think of your higher self possibly as that the best possible sibling you could have ever had. You know, maybe an identical twin. And this is a card that indicates some reconciliation. So the process of integrating with our higher selves has been ongoing. The more it does, the more we're able to express love for ourselves. Because sometimes you can't look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you. But if you think about the part of you that's behind that plexiglass and say, I'm proud of you, and I'm going to try to make you proud of me. That's part of that reconciliation process. Now, looking ahead here, this isn't as ominous as it might seem. And all because of this card here, the High Priestess. The Five of Cups, first of all, says the temporary situation. Okay, that there's going to be a little bit of sadness. It's not, while it's a joyful process to get to know our higher self, kind of letting go of the ego can be difficult. It can have challenges where we're caught up in this world, these experiences, just enjoying being in the world and of the world. So there is a little bit of letting go to be done with that. And the High Priestess is another major arcana that's indicating that the more we seek that, the more we're going to find it. It's just very close and available to us, is that inner knowing and that inner connection with our personal higher self, whoever he, she may be. The Three of Swords inside here, there's going to be a little bit of disinformation that's going to be spread out about this whole concept, even though you would think where there's nothing commercial about it. It's just part of a spiritual journey, part of our maturing and our journey through this life and in this world onto the next stage. There's still going to be some information out there, again, kind of chiding us and teasing us for following this path. And those aren't true. Those aren't true. What's true is we have a higher self we can connect to and integrate with, and it helps us to be the best version of ourselves and make our loving creator more proud of us. It's not about separation. It's about relationship. I'm going to get two more cards and see what the universe wants us to know. The World. Victory card. Okay. And the Nine of Wands. Determination card. You don't even need me to tell you how those work and all this. First of all, our entire world is on this path of restoration, of integration, of energies, energy flows, healing, things like that. So it's not just we humans that are on this path, so is our earth. And there's a determination for all of us involved that start this journey that nothing can stop what is coming. And what's coming is we are going to embrace and embody and be joyfully connected with the best parts of ourselves as a complete being. And I just love that message. To recap, at the request of my moderators, they asked me to speak a little bit about the concept of higher self. We reviewed what that was, and my compilation had a couple of constructs. Actually, I forgot to mention this, that those first two quotes were actually generated by AI on the browser, the Brave browser. And I thought they did an excellent job. I never thought I'd say that about an AI type of thing, but it did seem to be a good just overview of the topic. Then I linked a couple of articles, and interestingly enough, I linked an item that was talking about some declassified three-letter agency documents that confirm that our world is multifaceted and that our thoughts shape our reality, and that love is a very powerful, powerful weapon and tool. So we asked our higher selves as a collective, what did our higher selves want us to know? First of all, that there is one is absolutely indicated by the cards. Those higher selves that we have, they are glad that we're shining a light on the topic and exploring it. Our collective higher selves are very pleased with us for wanting this information, for accepting it, for exploring it at our pace, and according to our discernment. They're very happy with it. Now, part of that integration means we stop living as completely as an ego self. It's like maybe not having every meal be what you choose to have. Maybe you do it more with nutritional needs in mind or to please another family member. So there is a little bit of doing away with our ego self as we integrate, but we gain so much more than we could possibly lose. The integration process is ongoing and current, and it's part of a reconciliation. Just a second. Sneeze happened. I may have to stop again. You know how sometimes they come in multiples. Anyway, the reconciliation process of ourselves and our higher selves is ongoing, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's going to be in the future, first of all, part of this integration process, and part of this is going to be accepting and exploring some skills and abilities and just knowingness that we, before our journeys, especially since it's not taught and something you can't take explicit lessons on like in school, there's going to be a lot of knowledge that we're going to be assimilating, and it's really, really close. It's not hard to find. It's barely behind the surface here. Oh, not crying. That's sneeze. A little bit of caution was we're still going to be faced with some lies about what a higher self is, the value of recognizing that we each have a higher self and that we can have a closer relationship with that higher self. So be ready to parse out the farce from the truth. Victory card. This was some of the final two insight cards, and this one says, first of all, just an acknowledgement. It's not just one country, individuals in one country or one language system or one continent. Many of us are on this journey, and so is our Earth. And our Earth is making some growth and healing, and so are we, and becoming more complete, ready to love others and love ourselves and love the process and the progress that we made. There's a lot of determination for people involved in this journey that we won't be stopped, we won't be chided, we won't be, embarrassed in the path and the process we take to do it. So there is value in recognizing we have a higher self. We can have a closer relationship with that higher self. Now, according to the articles that I was looking at, they said that some people will feel like, especially in a meditation state, when they're speaking to their higher self, that they actually maybe, hear something or what have you. With me, it's just gentle nudges, just that good, happy glow feeling you get. But again, just inviting myself as part of myself to be the most complete self that I can be. And and again, part of that was apologizing to my higher self for all the times and ways that I let her down. I've never claimed to have led a perfect life. I've screwed up so many times in so many ways. But luckily, there is a grand and wonderful love that loves us no matter how bad we screw up. And I am so thankful that I know that love. That's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and your attention. Please, if you choose to hit that like button, you might have to hit it a few times because YouTube does YouTube things. Same thing with subscribing. If you've had to subscribe multiple times, it wasn't us, and we thank you for being tenacious about staying part of the channel. Until next time, I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright. If you're willing to receive it, it is yours. Bye.